Today in crypto. On October 15, news that a Bitcoin, BTC, exchange-traded fund, ETF, could start trading as early as next week sent Bitcoin price to $62,933, but the rally has cooled off since then. Some market participants believe that traders who bought the rumor of approval for a Bitcoin ETF product may sell on the news. Crypto trading firm QCP Capital said in an update that the approval of futures-based ETFs is unlikely to provide a long-term boost for Bitcoin prices similar to the one seen in the fourth quarter of 2020. Continue reading on Cointelegraph. Bitcoin, BTC, rose within a few steps of $63,000 today for the first time since April 18. The recent surge in the price may have been caused after various documents pointed to the eventual approval of a futures-based BTC ETF by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. According to these documents, the regulator may be close to green-lighting the application to list Valkyrie's Bitcoin Strategy Exchange-Traded Fund ETF for listing on Nasdaq. Analysts pointed out that gold's price had risen sharply leading up to the launch of the first U.S.-based gold ETF in 2004. Thereafter, the rally continued and gold's price rose more than 300% since the ETF was approved, before forming a major top. The similarity between gold and Bitcoin being stores of value appeared to have generated huge excitement for the launch of a Bitcoin ETF. Continue reading on Cointelegraph. Grayscale Investments, known for its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, is planning on filing an application to convert its flagship fund into a spot ETF early next week. Grayscale, which has been the dominant player in the digital asset space, is now looking to revamp its fund due to competition. Last Friday, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, approved the first-ever Bitcoin futures ETF, which is set to trade on the New York Stock Exchange early next week. The move has been hailed as a watershed moment by many, where Bitcoin is finally solidifying its legitimacy as an asset class to Wall Street and mainstream investors. Related reading: Bitcoin ETF receives approval from SEC, marking historic day for crypto. The ETF, managed by investment firm ProShares, will feature a low management fee of 0.95%, compared to Grayscale's 2%. Another benefit that the new ETF provides is the lack of redemption periods, something that has plagued GBTC's investors since its very inception. The Bitcoin Futures ETF is a step in the right direction in making cryptocurrencies more accessible for the everyday investor. However, many crypto investors have argued that the ETF's utilization of derivative contracts, which are traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, would prove to be far inferior compared to a spot ETF holding actual Bitcoin. Related reading: Grayscale looks to bolster investment offerings with 13 more cryptos, including Polygon, Solana, and ICP Contango, which is a phenomenon that occurs when futures prices are above expected future spot price, means that investors will lose out potential gains due to the Bitcoin futures contracts expiring higher than the cryptocurrency's spot price. Joe Orsini, director of research at Eaglebrook Advisors, explained the following disadvantages in his Twitter thread: futures-based #Bitcoin ETFs, buyer beware. A thread on Contango, using USO ETF, a futures-based ETF on crude oil, to compare performance of spot WTI crude, first-month crude futures, and a futures-based ETF. 1/npic.twitter.com/04rv1m7nkb, Joe Orsini, CFA, @JoeOrsini_. October 15, 2021. If approved, Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF would be backed by actual Bitcoins, rather than derivatives that track the cryptocurrency's price. Grayscale already has a significant portion of the world's circulating Bitcoin supply. Barry Silberts, the founder of Digital Currency Group and Grayscale Investments, took to Twitter to hint at upcoming changes for GBTC. He joked, "Friends don't let friends buy and hold futures-based ETFs." Though, there may be some truth behind the statement yet. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has accepted the registration request for ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF, with the shares to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange's Arca. According to an October 15 notice from the SEC, The agency has accepted the registration of securities from ProShares Trust's Bitcoin (BTC) exchange-traded fund, which offers exposure to the crypto assets with futures contracts. In addition, ProShares filed a post-effective amendment prospectus, which states its ETF could launch as early as October 18. Continue reading on Cointelegraph. Non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange ShapeShift has burned hundreds of themed collectible cards from the blockchain-based mobile game Spells of Genesis. The team said that the remaining cards in its possession will be placed under the control of its new decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO, and unlocked in limited tranches over the coming 2 years. According to on-chain data, parties including ShapeShift have burned at least 817 of the digital cards titled ShapeShift the Wanderer, originally minted in June 2015. This news followed an October 12 announcement that the exchange intended to destroy 649 cards to make those in circulation among the most rare, Spells of Genesis, cards in existence and among the oldest NFTs in existence. Other parties appear to have burned an additional 168 cards at some point in the past as well, leaving less than 200 cards distributable on-chain. Continue reading on Cointelegraph. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.